first. They bent there. Yeah, so not going to be a super exciting stream. I guess I'll wait for a few more people to show up before I do explain. Make Russia great again. Darian, what is the invasion relations penalty? I'm not entirely sure. Tune down the damn Plague in Constantinople. Yeah, I may need to do some tuning for Plague, but Plagues, they were really harsh even later in this period in history. No, plagues that were hitting in the 18th century were still wiping out like a third of a city's population, stuff like that. Yeah, this won't be a very fun stream. It'll be mostly bug fixes, but it'll give you a chance, you guys, a chance to explain some of the bugs you've encountered, and also give me a chance to try and fix some bugs as well. Yeah, plagues do mellow as time goes on, Ocularis. So that's when it hits your 40 pop city, it can seem pretty harsh. At this particular moment, I'm trying to figure out why countries are going like insta bankrupt. This wasn't an issue before. This wasn't an issue before the big paradox patch. Jesus. Big companies are going in uber debt early in the game. Not entirely sure why. Yeah, Bong Bong. Oftentimes what happens with Plague is even if you take a lot of measures, it's not going to be enough for you to escape it entirely. But it will often significantly mitigate the damage that's caused. Frozen. I suddenly got negative attachment relations with my ally for that relation with no pop-up. Yeah, I don't know. That sounds like something somebody else made, something I'm probably not too familiar with. So, trying to sort out, why it's only 1365 and lots of countries just go into debt right out of the gate. What the hell? Jesus, 3 loans? What's going on? Let's try a smaller country. So Granada has not been in any wars, and okay, they aren't in debt. Not in debt. Oops. Seems like countries that had war early in the game went into a lot of debt rather abruptly. Although Mamluks didn't go to war. Romans didn't go to war. They have debt. The heck. Oh, I guess they don't have debt. Never mind. Yeah, Bong Bong, maybe bad luck for you. You saw in my Byzantine game, I got trashed quite a bit by the plague, but it still was able to grow pretty substantially. But yeah, you're not going to get bigger than Milan necessarily in the first 50 years or so. Yeah, Inocularis is right as well. Pretty sure that at the time the Constantinople was slowly recovering from the Fourth Crusade, it never really recovered by the time the Turks came in. That's right. The Romans never really got Constantinople back to its previous glory. I gotta figure out the Turks in debt. I've been nerfing the Turks a little bit, as I'm sure a lot of people will be happy to know. I'm going to go into observe mode. Actually, I was playing a game And we're spending quite a bit on a variety of things here. Let's see. Overall budget isn't too bad. Don't know how they're going to pay off that debt, though. One of the issues I'm having right now is that countries need to they need to be able to properly harness their estates, but they don't. So, for instance, burgers should be demanding money on the pretense of a loan to pay off their debts, but they're not because the AI isn't properly trained to do it at the right time, right? So that would, I think, be enough to repay a loan, right? And it makes sense that they should try and do that. Also, you can see they tend to spend tons of money in state maintenance. They could easily demand support as far as demanding corvée labor, and so they would get lots of extra money, right, and easily pay off their loans in a relatively swift manner. So the question is, the only Americas is the population in the Americas accurate right now. Some provinces seem really high. It is accurate. Plague is supposed to obliterate most of them. I'm not sure what the condition of plague is right now. A lot needs to be done with colonization. In fact, we had a colonization bug that we need to sort out. So actually, I'm going to do that right now. I told GigOut that I would. I've been away from modding for since PDocsCon, which was a week ago. I ended up getting sick. I had to move into a new house, and so I've been away. I haven't been fixing any bugs since then, unfortunately. I'm just now trying to do it. So previously, all of the vital stats were set in provinces in the New World that were uncolonized at game start. The problem is when you colonize something, it wipes out all of the variables and all of the flags, which sucks. And so what we're going to do is we're going to try and come up with a way to prevent that from happening. Because the net effect was that when you colonize provinces in the New World, it would default to an innate fertility of 1, which was a problem. Okay, so we want to, let's do 916. So I saved the game. Let's get a baseline on what we're dealing with. Okay. So here we go. I know this is a bug that lots and lots of people wanted fixed. Demian, damn, thought you were of Middle Eastern heritage. I do have a lot of Semitic genes. So I do have some Middle Eastern ancestry, but you can probably tell by the eyebrows, right? But I don't really know what it is or where because I'm an American and we usually don't know these things. So it looks like GI Wild. I cut my hair before I went to PDocsCon, so I didn't look like a surfer bum. But yeah, I usually have longer hair and out on the water a lot more. Because that's what I do for a living. I'm a marine biologist, right? So I have goggles on my head most of the time and fins on my feet. So historic innate fertility is setting super low. Let's go ahead and pull up. Joey, right? I'm sure most people would. I did the DNA ancestry testing, expected Northern Eastern European, ended up with Mongolian showing up. I bet that's a surprise that a lot of people get. Thank you, Genghis. So last time I touched colonization was like a year ago. Oh, thanks, Gio. Wow, fan from Berlin. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, impressions. So you've all got to play the mod. Obviously, what I said earlier about it being kind of unfinished and the scaffolding is you've probably noticed by now. There's a lot that needs to be filled in. Yeah, the joys of looking at old code. Panther X, you could have it as a 10-year pulse after a certain time period. So here's the thing that we want to do. You can't really have it as a pulse. It has to be calculated relatively quickly because you have this issue where you can end up with mass famines breaking out and stuff like that if the variables aren't set properly, which is why it's kind of a headache. Yeah, so I gotta sort that out. Yeah, Ghost Tech. We lost a lot of our performance gains on a release, which Flopsy is dealing with now. It still runs better than the previous build, but yeah, when we merged the newest 1.21 build of the vanilla game, it caused a lot of issues that we're still sorting out. Okay, so let me figure out where this tabulous food determines per capita, blah blah blah. Well, this is where innate fertility is set for different areas. So every own province. So we're going to change this to is city, which means that is a colonized province. So we want to make it so that none of this is set in a province that's uncolonized. So it effectively disables our previous attempts to set proper variables. Let me save this, bring up a file I have not looked inside for a very long time. So this is I'm not even sure when this is called from. This is the thing with old code. When you start digging through old code, you have to refamiliarize with yourself, even if you wrote it yourself. You can have to be like, what was this for? What was this supposed to do? This is triggered only, but not apparently called from anywhere. Okay. Yuck. Maybe I'm... Oh, no, wait. This event sets the table for newly colonized provinces. Yeah, this... So maybe this is why we're having the problem. I think this was disabled somehow. And this used to be called... Yeah, okay. So I may already have the solution to the colonization bug. Christian, Demian, have you read Neotaxis subreddit thread? Possible improvements. Yeah, I browsed through it here and there. Republics are pretty OP in M&T. Yeah. They get a few too many trade bonuses and stuff like that, especially when it comes to trade efficiency and such. Let me deal with this here. So, is this ever called from anywhere at all? Okay, I'm gonna run a search in the entire M&T folder on a different screen so you guys don't have to get bogged down with that. Yeah, and then it's supposed to set. No, but this is improper here. World population. So, in theory, New England, when you colonize it, is supposed to be way bigger. The innate fertility, right? The carrying capacity is supposed to be way higher, but it isn't. According to the code, it's only modifying it slightly. But this is modified. Annoying. Oh, let me think. Maybe I should just do this from scratch. Tis a flesh wound. One of the people that was working on colonization. They were working on it and then they disappeared for a long time and kind of left it unfinished. Dodocan, hey Damien, I've heard that you have your plans sorted out for tribes, but I could not watch all your recent streaming for the news. Did you see this thread I made? I don't know if I did or not. By the way, I'm not certain how much I'll be modding or not in the future. As I said in the previous stream last night, it depends on a lot of different factors. I'm gonna try to start my new game dev project and try to monetize it to some extent. And if I can be successful enough at it, I may attempt to keep modding and adding features. If not, then I don't know. I can still do it as a hobby, but I don't think I'd have enough time to really make much of a difference. So, okay, so there's a pulse system, which is what is calling the events. Common disasters, pulse system, WTF. And Damian Lewandowski, yeah, there will be a system to become a republic. Okay, I'll try and check it out. Your thread, developing the travel estate idea. If I do start to go into active development again, I'll have a development sprint, right? And then I'll try to add in a specific feature, and then we can all talk about it then. Can I form Belgium and MT? I don't think so. Sorry, Anthony. Huh. Taurus Sturda. What is the reason for that? If you were at war, your loan size goes down the drain and you go bankrupt instantly? Can you elaborate on that real quick? Because I've been trying to figure out an issue we've been having with countries going bankrupt really fast, and I don't know why. So what do you mean exactly? So you go to war. Are you saying that when you try to take a loan, the loan is trivially small, and so therefore you could take like 1 billion loans and then go bankrupt? Because if that's happening, then that could be the source of the bug that we're encountering. Hey, Lambert. So yeah, Taurus, if you can elaborate on that, that would be really, really helpful. Oh, Pop's die, income drops the loan, and the interest on the loans hurt. Yeah, that's life, I guess. But I've been seeing more pronounced bankruptcies than just that. Like, for instance, Mamluks just went to war with like some small country, and then they were like totally bankrupt, like really quickly. Big issue is I just need to freaking I need to train the AI to properly use the states again. I played Taurus Durda. I played as a small nation like Simeon at the start of the war at loan size of 15. Then I get a pop-up debug, loan size -10. Then I have a loan size of 5 and go instantly bankrupt. I have to see what's the ID, Taurus, of the pop-up? Did you check? Oh, destroying the Capitol building? Not necessarily. It actually needs. We were going to add in. We're going to also make it function as a palace too, which improved the cost effectiveness of your courts, and so in some ways it'll be able to recoup a lot of money that you would normally have to spend on courts to keep them high. Right now, each level of capital gives you a 5% bonus to CE throughout your country. Policies will make it back in eventually, yeah, but they need to be balanced, and they need to be not gamey. The big issue with policies too is they were just basically a massive gift to the player and really, really bad for the AI because the AI never used them properly. AI would take totally retarded policies, burn their mana points for nothing, and then the player would stack the good ones, and then it was just extremely unbalanced. So. Yeah, Christian, it could be, but it would have to be pretty caustic for that kind of bankruptcy to hit. And by that, you get set loan size from that. Colluding the city. But why would it... I mean, so from my understanding, what you're saying is that you have a loan obligation and... Yeah, I'll have to track the downfall of a country and see exactly. Here, Taurus. Type in. Oh yeah, ID. Good. I'll look it up. So I definitely want to get to the bottom of this. Yeah, I won't be able to get to all your questions. Sorry. What the hell? Bankruptcy 1. Is that a vanilla event? Ah, crap. I don't want to use regular events. What is this? Inducement by Desimon. The next loan will guarantee bankruptcy. Okay. Trigger number of loans 15. Did you have 15 loans, Darius, though? Why would it fire? Why would it fire at all if you didn't have 15 loans? If you check the loan, it's 268 as of now. But for example, if you sack Florence or a major city of the opposing or even yours, like Baghdad, it can be a major problem and will set you behind. I'm trying to tease out here what is the natural and organic consequence of having loans and then being underwater as a result of getting your ass kicked. I'm trying to tease that out from what Terrace seems to be describing. I'm not trying to figure out if it's the same thing. So loans. Okay, I think the problem is so Taurus, what's confusing is that you need at least 15 loans for this event to fire at all. I don't see it being called from someplace else. Yes, I take 27 loan max I can take. Then it popped up and I can only take 3 loans. Well, if you're at 27 loans, it kind of seems like a bit of a fringe case. Why would you take out 27 loans? Or are you saying that you could take out 27 loans and then you can only take 3 loans? Because this is only triggered when you have 15 loans, when you have actually actively taken out 15 loans. Well, anyway, let me get back to fixing the bug with colonization. So this is somewhat of an important issue to try and fix. Crap, where'd I put? There we go. So this is supposed to fire like every month. Is month March. Crap, I have no idea who did this and why. No clue. Okay. So here's a little pointer. I'm going to save this. And then we go to our repository. And you can go to this thing called blame to see who was the last person who was messing with it. If it's going to be me, it's going to be kind of embarrassing. So most of my stuff is commented out. Patrick, 'tis a flesh wounds, yeah. So basically someone was messing with it, changed it around. Yeah, Connor, that happens when the variables aren't set properly. Oh, okay, Taurus, I see. So, for example, playing as a small nation at the start, you could take like 200 loans worth of 1 ducat, which I think is totally okay since you want to be able to expand. Well, I mean, that's kind of an exploit. It's kind of a gamey exploit, and so, you know, if you're getting punished for that, then yeah, sorry, I don't consider that so much a bug as poetic justice, I think. So sorry. Copiago. Well, small nations are supposed to be hard to play. Yeah, and I'm gonna try and avoid getting. Oh, huh. Is it supposed to have over 500,000 in Chile? I think so, believe it or not. But we can check. Yeah, that's something we'll have to double check on. That is pretty crazy. Thing is there were a lot of people here, but now we have like these big provinces, which are technically encompass all these would encompass all these people too. So anyway, I gotta figure out how to fix this damn bug. Okay, not the bankruptcy one, because that's not really a bug. Sorry, Taurus. I know you want to take your 200 loans, but I don't find that an outrageous outcome that you experienced. Sure, Elysian, I'll answer a few questions in a bit. I really have to fix this. I'm thinking about just removing all this here and putting in my own stuff. That's gonna take some time. I may table it for a little bit later. Because now I'm messing with other people's code. I better mention that in Slack. Over in the Colony tab. Okay, so apparently most of my original rectification code for colonization was replaced. I think Tiza and a few others made their own code. I'm not sure I want to sort through and revise it all. It may be better just to do it all from scratch. I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah, Robert. Most of those types of bugs, they can be mentioned in the forum because I'm mainly sticking to pop type bugs. Like all of the degracious stuff, like it's not a very effective use of my time because A, I didn't write it. 2, it's old. 3, I have the most fluency with the pop oriented stuff. So bugs to consider: anything that's related to estates, population growth, farming efficiency, basically all of the 2.0, the new 2.0 stuff. If it has to do with tags, or Holy Roman Empire stuff, or religion, that's not really my domain. And it would take me much longer to fix it than someone someone else on the team who's already part of that, of dealing with that kind of stuff. So, right, so this is going to take a while to fix this colonization bug. I think what I would have to do, I would need an event called once a year at the beginning of the pop growth events that would then check to see if the province is a city or not. And then I would go by region and whether it's coastal. Yeah, so well, that's kind of annoying. Let's check climate. So the objective would be, we want coastal provinces which are not tropical to have pretty good carrying capacity along the coast. And then tropical areas would have quite a few diseases and stuff like that. Ugh. Along the coast here, you'd have pretty good carrying capacity as well, especially as you get out into La Plata. And there's already quite a few populations set here. So I'm wondering if we can use this criteria to set. Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk with the rest of the teammates about this. This is a little too much has changed since the last time I've touched it. So. Fro, can innate fertility be improved by buildings? Not yet. I mean, you could code something where it did. What I was going to do, I mean, very little affects innate fertility per se. In the calculations, it can be multiplied to give you faster land, cultivated lands, which then increases your population. You'll eventually make canals and dams and stuff like that you can build, which improve innate fertility. Elysian, what was your questions again? Well, I mean, I just posted on the forums about it. I found the bug in the pop census. There's a line missing, taking away 1.8 rural production, which causes it to remain when the rural production. Okay, let's take a look. That's a good bug to notice. So let's pull up. Actually, we should have the census somewhere. Census, okay. Okay, so 1.8 rural. Can you tell me which line it was, Elysian? Which caused it to remain the rural production row? This is the only reference I see to 1 point. Value. Huh. So what, line 293. Oh, it's not there, so obviously when I search for it, it's not going to show up. Yeah, so it's not in that neck of the woods. I see. You're right, yeah. Okay. So theoretically, it should be giving a double modifier when it shouldn't be. Oops. Okay. How'd you find that anyway? All right, thanks. Hi, Demian. I've been really enjoying watching these streams after they were streamed. So hyped to watch this, watching from Denmark. Yeah, I was assuming the hype would die down significantly once once the beta was released. But I still got a good number of people here. Yeah, Lisden, you're right. That's probably... There's an issue with Picardy too. We're gonna hopefully, if I keep modding, I wanted to redo the way that rural production works in general. It's too confusing and convoluted right now. It was written as one of the first things I made as part of the economic system, and I wasn't even satisfied with it then. But I have a new way to handle it, but it'll take maybe 2 weeks of work, maybe. Yeah. So we'll see if I can ever get around to that. Thanks for pointing out that bug. Yeah, the other can. It's actually pretty inspiring. PDocsCon was awesome to go to because surrounded by tons of people that were like that. History nerds and people that are just really into this kind of thing. So I need to trying to figure out the best way to go, what I should do next, as far as what I should code before release. So we have an official release coming up, like end of the beta or whatever. We're going to put it on Workshop. Trying to figure out where to best focus my efforts until then. Let's see. There's a bug that plagues always devastate Constantinople when I'm playing Byzantium. I don't think that's a bug, buddy. Sorry. I played M&T for the first time in a real way. Basically played vanilla EU4 for a while before that. Didn't understand the hype. Now I do. Only thing about the project is there's so much bloat. Yeah, Tornado. A lot of there's so much old stuff too that just needs to get trimmed, in my opinion. Yeah, no future major plans on culture conversion. I think what's really important, which isn't a bug, I should be fixing mainly bugs right now, but what's really important is that the AI properly utilize the state interactions. Because right now they're not dealing with debt very well because they're supposed to lean on they're supposed to do stuff like levy emergency taxes and stuff like that in order to get themselves out of debt or to react to strenuous situations. They don't really do that very well. They were kind of they were abruptly given really rudimentary instructions, and so I really need to fill in that gap in order to make the AI resilient. Elysian, yeah. Some of the wealth growth percentage modifiers for buildings have been commented out. Some of the localizations on the buildings may not have been updated. So if there's some incongruities, let me know. Tornado Watch, that's exactly what I mean. Yeah, I need to take some shears to the project. I want to play Mew in multiplayer because that's traditionally what I love, but the project is really unstable with a lot of people. I mean, you could play with 15 people. You deal with crashes once in a while, but if you're patient, it's okay. I wish I could take some shears to the project myself, but I'm not the only person on the team, obviously, and there's some resistance to doing significant pruning. A lot of pruning needs to be done with Degracia, since there's a lot of bloaty events, but that's a black box that's difficult to deal with because our Degracia guy is gone. Tribes are still disabled. That's another big thing that needs to be done, but that's a significant project that needs to be resolved. Yeah, Agostino, we may be pushing back the official. We're going to go into like beta 2 mode. What's the date? It's the 25th. So, yeah, colonization needs to be sorted. How come coring takes such a long time? It just does. I don't know. Years seems about right. I think what it might be, honestly, a lot of people have worked on the project, and at this point, everyone's got their baby they don't want to touch. Tornado, that's true. I mean, I have no problem murdering my children. So, for instance, I spent 4 months working on the development overhaul, and I just completely threw the whole thing away. You know, it just didn't belong anymore. It didn't fit with the new paradigm, and you know, you can't be afraid to prune the tree from time to time. We have events and systems like the Renaissance system and stuff like that, which have been here since EU4 was released and the mod was first made, and it's still there and it's still clunky and unbalanced, and yeah, I kind of just want to hack it out, but. So Am I the only one who has problems in multiplayer when loading a game? We'll probably be testing that out, COV, in greater detail. All right, cool. Thanks, Tornado. Take your time with this. There's no need to rush. Project is huge. We can keep working with the betas until it's done. Yeah. Yeah, nothing wrong working in betas. Yeah, my mic. Wish there was a better place for it, actually. Should I stick it to tape it to like the bottom of my desk or something? Yeah, it's over in a corner, and I'm having a hard time finding a place to put it where it doesn't. Let's see. Or if I could raise, if I could turn it in the right direction here. Okay. All right, pop filter. Is that any better? Yeah, Tara, stability modifier just it increases the number of stability points you get. Right, so if yearly multiplier is 0.88, it multiplies the 10 that you normally get by 0.88. Descriptions for warehouses, all market buildings, and all roads. Mention wealth growth is commented out. Okay, so that's where. All right. Yeah, looks like you're right. I'll have to fix that. Roads. Yeah, the problem is they were unduly benefiting super big rural populations like in China. So you had perverse situations where it was beneficial to build marketplaces in like every province. It's kind of wonky. Yeah, we can fix that. I'm gonna pull up localizations. Localizations. We don't want old, we want building, place, buildings. Okay, so fort, warehouse. This is the wonderful world of hacking localizations. Wealth growth. Let's remove that. Okay. And then warehouse district. It looks like I may have removed that one already. There we go. And then marketplace. Bye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Right now, there's an artificially large amount of economic growth happening, especially due to that can stay, but especially due to the states because they don't have their events in yet. The states are supposed to be able to use a lot more of their money on other types of things other than constructing or being shaken down for money and such. Oh, shifting loyalties? What do you mean, GI Wild? Shifting loyalties? Elysian, yeah. Ports for now still have wealth. That's normal. Tornado, yeah, they're working on institutions. That's not my thing. Shifting loyalties, is that holy shit? Way too many modifiers here. Shifting loyalties. Yeah, that's really not necessary. That could actually go a long way. And actually, let me. Mamluks need to be like unnerfed. We removed some of the malices on the Romans too. Okay, we need to find. I think. Actually, this doesn't help us. Obstacle modifiers. What the hell? What is that even? Okay, so we got the formal name. I'm guessing you can remove it with a decision or something? Event? What is the most fun starting nation? Well, a waste of a question. It's Granada, obviously. Yes, so tornado, that's exactly. So here's the issue right now. There is this big gaping hole when it comes to estates. What we need is, first we need state corruption. Then we need to train the AI when to attempt to revoke privileges properly and to utilize their estates properly. Then we need to create hostile ways to remove estate privileges, and also make estates much more hostile when you make them angry, right? So when you go below, when you go into bad loyalty territory, it needs to be bad, right? Much worse than it is right now. I just put in placeholder events, right? But in order to properly train our estates, not our estates, in order to properly train the AI to prudently remove the privileges and stuff like that long term, is they need to be able to have postures to know when to take a long-term objective. So the Mamluks need to be able to say, like, okay, for the next 50 to 100 years, we need to focus on getting rid of privileges, right? We don't want them to be attacking people. We don't want them expanding their territory and making things worse, right? So in order to do that, we need to create a directory whereby the AI, will adopt a posture for a given period of time and then act on that posture in order to pursue a long-term strategy. Which is not hard, but it takes time. Palo YOLO. Demian, I live near real-life Granada. You jelly? Ah, marry me. Tornado. I'd honestly like to have an option to initiate a disaster to curtail my estates of a great number of their rights at once. I mean, that's the idea, Tornado, is to antagonistically go after your estates. And then you have, a rapid-fire situation where, a chain of really bad events happen, but also a chain of events which give you cheap opportunity to revoke privileges happens as well. So that's something that we really need at this point. The problem is all of this has to be done together and all at once. Otherwise, you get a really wonky, unbalanced system. And so that, I'm thinking 3 weeks to a month of work. And so engaging in that right off the bat is a bit difficult. And so it makes sense to kind of fix smaller bugs. At least train the AI to properly utilize their estate interactions. That's an easy way to go. So that's probably what I'll have to do first. Yeah, tornado. So kind of like ruler personality. The problem with ruler personalities and stuff like that is that they are designed more around like role playing as opposed to utility. And so it gets like the country to role play, but it doesn't get them to play smart. And so, what I was talking about in my stream last night is I'd like to make emotions for the AI, and then based on what they're facing, they will then experience an emotion, which then weights all of their decisions toward a specific objective, right? So it's like when someone punches you in the face, you get angry, right? Because anger skews all of your objectives toward aggression, or all of your actions toward aggression, right? And aggression, when you're in a fight, you need to be aggressive. You need to fight back or whatever. And so that's the idea, is to make a directory. So we have a census file. We could have a census file, kind of like what you see with population growth, right? And then each year, the AI would assess the condition that they're in, and then they would have to decide, like, do I need to be angry? Do I need to be aggressive? Do I need to be happy because my country is prospering, and so now I should build up my economy and not go to war? You see what I'm saying? So have those kinds of emotions. And so, for instance, what's especially important is when the country gets too fat on corruption, they need to be self-conscious or ashamed of their corruption. At which point, you could disable casus belli for that country, and then make them purely look inward. So then, because they're self-conscious, they will attempt to take lots of stability policies. They'll attempt to get their house in order so that then they can go after their estates and reduce privileges. And you can see how that's more complicated than just writing a quick script where, if stability is above 2, then revoke privilege. That's too short-sighted. You need to give the AI a longer-term strategy. And that's the part that will take some time. So yeah, Ethan Finley, will there be a way to almost completely destroy your estates? Yeah, if you're a small country and you reduce their autonomy and increase your absolutism. Yeah, tornado. The idea is to take as much out of the hands of vanilla AI as possible. That's why, for instance, I have a savings account for the AI and a war chest and stuff like that. So you hide things from the AI, and you disable their behavior that they would normally be subject to the vanilla AI, and then you just write your own AI. And the thing is, when we have so many instruments at our disposal, like we have with Pop, you can do that. I'm gonna kick this on. Oh, no, we were looking for shifting loyalties, weren't we? Okay. All right, I guess I'll look for it on a different screen. Shifting loyalties. I'm gonna come right back in just a second. I'm gonna let that run on a different screen. Okay, let's see what we came up with. Obstacle. Yuck. There's all kinds of really annoying. Apparently, shifting loyalties is like plunked on countries all over the place. I'm not sure how you even get rid of it. So apparently it's on like Fez 2. Shifting loyalty, succession by the sword. You see, this is just another dynasty of conquerors, soon to be pushed aside by another. For these reasons, our soldiers are willing to fight only as long as we keep winning, and our governors are willing to open the city gate should an enemy army arrive. Well, kind of annoying, but I guess leave it. There's too much to remove from too many different places. Goes back to the issue of injecting myself into other people's work. So I think you remove it by decision, so it can be removed. The important thing now is to give countries a way to get themselves out of debt specifically. Okay, so let's see. I need to come up with a focus here. Ellie is Damien. Ellie is sleeping. Maybe when she barges down here, we'll play some Bubbles or Terraria or something. Let's see. Don't badmouth Granada. Carl, there should be a decision associated with shifting loyalties. It shouldn't be in debt. I saw it pop up. Okay. Yeah, Tornado, I agree. Like, if it were up to me, we would generalize these types of obscure modifiers into all of the privileges and state corruption and stuff like that we have, because it's uniform for everybody, but you can tune it around and change it based on what country you want to have it, based on local flavor, right? And so that would be nice to do that eventually. And we've done that to some extent. Like, we removed some of the Roman kicking the ball modifiers and just gave them more privileges instead, because, the Romans were so disorganized and decadent and were controlled so much by their nobles at that point. Yeah, building requirements. So here's the issue with building requirements. So, right, so let's say, right. So the problem here is it has to do, see right here how you're not allowed to have building descriptions. And the only way we can express information is to actually hack the building description and have more information. See, in reality, this should be the building title right here, but we've hacked the entire title to have the urban gravity information and the wealth information, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's the only way we can express this information to you. The only problem is that when it pops up, so for a craftsman district, the requirements, it requires it's hard to explain, but it has to require itself for it has to do with looting and stuff like that. But it should just be showing, to have a craftsman district, you need a craftsman district, but it's showing all of the other stuff related in the title as well. And so there's no way to get around that, as far as I know, until Paradox gives us proper building descriptions. Then we can move all of this stuff down into a description of the building warehouse district, right? Until we get that, then we're kind of stuck with all that confusing text. So I apologize. I'd also, by the way, guys, like to get a multiplayer game going at some point. It'd be cool. So let's do this. Let's try to get focused here and see what time is it. I have till about 5 o'clock to get stuff done. If anyone comes up with pop-specific bugs, let me know, but I'd like to try and focus now on some global AI stuff. Specifically, yeah, Zaid. Looks like I lost you guys for a second. Demian, hey Demian, nice to see you streaming again. Could you please tell me if the team knows about the orthodoxy bug? Yeah, I don't. I'll mention it in religion, but the religion guy's gone, so all of these religion bugs are probably going to go mostly unaddressed. I mean, no one's talked about it in Slack since May 16th, so I have no idea. Sorry. And not my area either, so. Remember, I'm mainly the pop guy, new mechanics guy. That's where most of my fluency is. There's millions of lines of code, and I'm only responsible for parts of it. Oh, the 3 extra merchants. Yeah, they disappear at the end of the month. That's yeah, that's what's happening there is it's if you are a merchant republic, right? Basically, it's a buffer. You're given a buffer of merchants. It's hard to explain, but we're going to try and find out a better way to deal with it. Is there a reason why in my games every type of organization gives only 1% goods produced bonus? The 1% goods produced bonus is specifically so that you can see stuff in the map mode. And so some things have that on it. Where is it? Some of them do. When you use the special map mode. You got it as Flanders too? Florence. Well, any kind of republic will get it. But I'm going to try and find out a better way to deal with it later. So, try to address it. Yeah, if you have a traders faction, then that's where it comes from, to put it simply. Okay, let me... Yeah, I don't know why Flanders would be getting it, but I know they have a lot of burgers. Okay. Yeah, it could happen when you form the Dutch Republic. So we need to train the AI to use the states interactions properly. I'm wondering if this is really a plausible thing to do during the stream or whether I should just shut it off. Because it does take a certain amount of focus. And a lot of time with me sitting here staring at the screen. Make this go away for now. It is something that's really important that I think we do need before release. So previously, this is where all of the offensive war decisions are made. Powerful magnates. Not sure what's up with that. I'm trying to figure it out with the rest of the team. I'll ask about the powerful magnates. I just did. Yeah, it needs to be a bit more dynamic than that, Tornado. This might be a bit of an oversimplification, but to the level of corruption that the AI checks, along with its level of population, the CF4 is acceptable. Here's the thing: I need maybe I should make the emotion system now, even if I don't necessarily use it all of it right away. So let's go all the way to the top here. Global AI decisions, I believe, is fired once every year. Oh, Lisbon, yeah, I'll fix that too. Oh, did I? Where did I put building localizations? Okay. Let me fix that real quick. Buildings. Stock exchange. Here we go. Yeah, I think I gotta get the white here too. Okay, should do it. Now, Carl Jones, the whole Metropole thing, it has to do when there's a disparity between the possible gains that can be made in a nearby province versus the gains that can be made in the Metropole. And that's kind of a loose thing. It's I don't want to get into the exact algorithm. You just kind of have to accept the fact that the math is in favor of investing in nearby provinces. At one point, I had Constantinople sitting at 3,000 ducats for around 80 years, and they refused to spread the wealth. Yeah, Ismet, or excuse me, Carl. It depends. It depends specifically on how much money they have relative to the infrastructure value of the Metropole. Okay, focus, gotta focus. All right, so how about this, guys? This is what you can help me with. I need emotions, different types of emotions for the AI, which can be pertinent in informing their decision making, which would otherwise make you behave in a particular way, and it skews all of your decision making toward a specific objective. So, for instance, you see a beautiful woman, you fall in love. Seeing the beautiful woman is what spurs you to fall in love, and then all of those lovey-dovey feelings in your head then influence all of your behavior toward pursuing a mating strategy with that individual, right? So maybe if you're feeling in love and you're sitting on your couch and you're like, you know what, I'd like to watch TV normally, but gee whiz, I'm feeling all of this love. I should go up and try to, have an encounter with this person that I'm in love with, right? So because you are in love, it is weighted your decision making and then push you in that particular direction. And you could be in any other kind of conditions too. You could be at work or something, and normally you'd be willing to stay late, but instead you're like, you know what? I'm going to try and get a date with this person I love. And so instead, even though I otherwise would have stayed late to work, instead I'm going to go pursue this person. So in AI and love, royal marriage, royal marriage, royal marriage. So that's an example of how emotions work from a utilitarian standpoint. And so that needs to work the same way with the AI. And I need a list of functional emotions that are triggered by conditions on the ground, right? So if you have a super dangerous, scary neighbor next to you, you feel intimidated, right? And you might be like, I better build forts, or I better focus on building an army to defend myself. Whereas if you, that would be the intimidation emotion. So let's write that down. Intimidation. And if you, let's say you don't have very many scary individuals next to you, you might feel confident. If you have a lot of weak individuals next to you, and you have good stability and good fundamentals and good conditions, you might feel aggressive or impetuous. Yeah, tornado. Defensive, intimidated, triggered by strong or nearby ascendant neighbors. Yeah. And so we need conditions for all of these too. Right. So intimidation happens when you have a neighbor who's a big country capable of conquering your ass, and you have bad relations with them, no royal marriages and no alliances. You would feel confident. Let's see. Benjamin, do you have a day job, Demian? I do. I run a aquarium company, marine biology consulting company for captive ecosystems. Because I'm a marine biologist. That's my job, and then I'm a part-time stay-at-home dad too, so that takes up a lot of time with the girls. I do have help with them though now, with my mother-in-law and my own parents are nearby. And so dominance, lazy. Let's see. Perhaps these emotions can be in line with the diplomatic stances they already take. Domineering, friendly, aggressive, sort of, kind of. But these, I was thinking about using those stances and changing them, but I kind of want some of my own postures and my own emotions to cowboy. But we may integrate the AI ones, but we need to take a more significant control. Lazy. Well, why? So what would be the practical function of lazy? Let's see. So let's see. First off, inward concerned. Tornado watch triggered when AI has decent internal population income, but hugely powerful estates and mounting corruption. This is actually one of the quintessential ones. What's a good word for that? So like maybe self-conscious, like inward concern is not really. Well, these kind of all be like emotional states, because there can be some overlap. I think self-conscious is kind of interesting, and then self-conscious. Let me catch up. A lustful trait. Anxious. What's the definition exactly of anxious anyway? Experiencing worry, uneasy, or nervous tickle about an imminent event or something with an uncertain outcome. So anxious doesn't quite fit. Let me get back to your comments. Lazy could be for an AI that is in a strong position and just doesn't feel like conquering more for whatever reason. That's interesting. Okay, so what conditions would... Okay, yeah, lazy works. So lazy would be, for a situation where conquered a lot, but needs to rest. That's simple, right? And a lazy is... So laziness in sociobiological terms is actually a functional emotion, because the idea is that when you don't have opportunities around, you want to conserve energy, and you do that by being lazy. So you just kind of lay around and wait for a sufficient. Laziness is a time management tool. If you think about like lazy lions, that lay around because there's no gazelle like nearby and it's hot out, so why bother? So yeah, lazy is good. Conquered a lot, but needs to rest, or and does not have ample opportunity. Let's see. Because remember, none of this is for role-playing purposes. This is all for practical purposes, to make the AI behave better, and give us more tools to program the AI when they're making decisions, with the POP system. Let's see. Make the system more flexible when all compiles are relatively equal. Spend points and money on increasing internal power. Passive. That could kind of be lazy. Yeah. Okay, just type in what you want and it would figure it out by yourself. If you have no recent expansion, make all the money. Yeah, that's kind of lazy. Self-concerned. Well, self-concerned could theoretically mean that you're worried about outward attacks or something like that. Trying to find a good, like, self-conscious. Let's look up self-conscious, because we need that word for, oh my god, I'm so fat, I need to lose weight, and I look like a slob. I really need to get on a treadmill. Like that's the kind of emotion we need for like getting rid of corruption and getting your house in order. You know, self-conscious, feeling undue awareness of oneself, one's appearance, or one's actions. So I think self-conscious works like that. But what we need is a deeper emotion where like you're 600 pounds and you're like ready to die of diabetes and oh my god, you really need to do something about it. Like we need a second level of self-conscious, you know. So right, so you're self-conscious when there's too much corruption, need to trim down, and you have no existential crises, right? So if you're a fatty and you're 350 pounds, you need to lose weight, you're not going to be self-conscious if you're about to be hit by a car, right? So self-conscious only kicks in when when you have severe issues, and when you don't have severe issues right in front of you, but you need to kind of get things in order. Let's see. Shame, self-shame. Okay, that's a good level 2. Shame. Extremely corrupt. Need to trim down regardless of existential crises. Right, so it's kind of like, okay, there's that big guy on your border that's ready to eat you, but you need to deal with the corruption now because it's too destructive. Ambitious diplomatic. Let's see. Yeah, I wonder. The only problem there is that we don't have much diplomatic control. We don't have much control over making the AI play a better diplomatic game. Because they send diplomats out kind of however they want to. Attention seeking. Yeah, because from a modding perspective, we can't really force a country, to go out. Lack of a good army but good court equals playing badly. Yeah, it's true. The AI, if they don't have an army, they already stop spending on their court. So, if their income is horrible, they already stop spending on their court. So it's kind of not really a situation that you'd end up with. Well, Sparta, this is kind of the point, right? Goal-oriented. Could you detract a diplomat from an AI and simulate diplomatic relationship? It does, but the AI, you can ruin AIs that way. In fact, I need to take the -1 diplomats off of mediating internal disputes because it's already screwing up the AI. So actually, let me do that now while it's on my mind. There was the AI version. Where did I put it? Well, actually, I know where I can find it. What? No, I know it's supposed to be here. WTF. I'm gonna reorganize my AI stuff. Global AI decisions. That should be it. Okay, stability policy. Well, maybe it doesn't, because they weight their decisions based on number of diplomats. So no, that should be free number of diplomats. Yeah. Stability policy. Wait, stability policy admin. Okay, that's where it is. Let's revise this a bit so that we have other diplomatic costs here. Well, actually, maybe leave it for now. No. No. Sucks. Wish the AI wasn't so crappy with her diplomats. Oops. Oh well. Go with it for now. Fix it up later. The tornado. So like tie in their emotion to idea groups a bit to add more depth. The thing is like it's more of a role playing thing, and I when you get the AI to role play too much, you're kind of just teaching them to be bad. Because if you take admin, it can theoretically put you in a good position to conquer stuff if you have a good economy. So I don't think that's dynamic enough. Georgie, martial law will always go away eventually. It just takes some time, 5 years tops. Let's see. Centralize or up centralization, build roads, ports to reduce CE. Huh. Yeah, that's. Yeah, say what? Disposition for AI with a ton of low CE provinces. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's get something like that. So we have all like the shame and intimidated and stuff like that. What about like a self improver type of emotion, right? So what would be a good hmm. Get in shape. Get in touch with inner self. Needs to improve CE. Yeah, so when average CE sucks, right? So self improver. Mourning emotion, trying to put itself back on 2 feet after a natural disaster like a plague or a flood. Um, huh. That's a possibility. So yeah, when there's a really bad crisis and you're in really crappy shape, huh. What would be a good name for that? Maybe general recovery. Recovery. Well, we don't need that because we already have something called a well-being composite, which is what you can check for. So I think that we can put that like wounded. Butt hurt. Taking some hits to recover. But you know, there's a big difference between, like, for instance, low stability and having taken a lot of hits, like population wise. This is for later. What we really need to focus on is, for now, lazy. Self-improver. Self-conscious. Shame. 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 That would be an interesting idea, Miguel. Any cultural emotion, deliberate intent to get percent education. That's a good idea for later. Um, Something like that you give the specific cultures if you want, you know, to make them live up to their local flavor. Arborea is independent at GameStar. Could there be a modifier for a nation in free fall, like a no holds barred sort of thing? Like when a nation is on low stab with rebellions during a war and a crisis at the same time. Yeah, I mean, but what would be the appropriate reaction? Curl up in the fetal position and cry like a baby, like. That's a power monger, interesting idea. Gear a country toward just wrecking all of their rivals once they're a sufficient size. Um, like panicked is an interesting idea. Everything has gone to shits. Not sure what the practical implication of that would be. Christian Mogensen. I don't listen to that much music. Like some ska, Real Big Fish type thing. Mainly video game music. Oh, and My Little Ponies, obviously. Yeah, obviously. Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, all the Mr. Rogers songs. Basically anything I have to listen to that my daughter insists on listening to over and over and over again. That's my main soundtrack at the moment to my life. Trying to catch up with comments. Honestly, maybe a bonus so that strong nations can at least try to stay strong. Think of it so that there will be nations strong enough to fight the player, Damien. Yeah. I mean, a lot of these aren't going to be practically used yet. But eventually, it'd be nice to have a situation where if a bunch of threatened individuals were surrounding a bigger country, they could all conspire to attack simultaneously, even if they aren't allied. But that would be a ways off. Greedy needs funds to improve infrastructure and looks for opportunities to loot other countries. Interesting idea, but not something I would expect to use anytime soon. Use money, loots other countries for infrastructure. It'd be nice to eventually have wars where they wouldn't be intending to annex, you know? We'd have to make our own casus belli for that, though. Nibblers. Or a snacker. Hunger. An AI could become incensed or angry whenever someone nearby they fight like rival holds their core's lands they consider to be rightfully theirs. What ended up was that I got great education in Corp. The population behaved weirdly. Researcher is an interesting notion. I might hold off on that until tech gets redone. Okay, this is a good place to start. The important ones here are these, I think, because these are kind of some holes right now in AI decision making. Oh, when AI is in debt, I wonder. Actually, intimidated, confident. Okay, no, this should work. So, I don't necessarily need an emotion for being broke, because you can just check how many loans you have, and then couple that with shame. So, if you are corrupted beyond belief, and you are just totally ashamed, you aren't going to attempt to bum favors off of your estates, even if you need it because you're so ashamed because you don't want to have to hand out other privileges again. So that should work. Yeah, original poster. Would there be a way to make a country have more than one of these attitudes? Absolutely. That's kind of the point, right? So you can be intimidated and self-conscious. You can be you could be confident but lazy, um, because you may not have a major rival, but you may not have opportunity, right? So yeah, there could be theoretically. That's why this is superior to the AI personalities that currently exist, because you can only really have one at a time, so it's not very dynamic, and I can't control it very well. So cautious, that could be good. Lol, what? Cautious, good state and good military, surrounded by many neighbors, expands slowly and uses mostly monetary reparations. Let's put cautious there for future reference. Stable, good military. But surrounded by others who have the same. Let's see. Happiness. What condition? You're at greedy down there, but it's kind of common that. The biggest thing I'm not sure at the moment is that how to improve rural growth, since urban growth can be achieved well with buildings. Yeah, rural growth is not super fleshed out yet. We'll have ways in the future to do that. Cowboy. Maybe you can have the top 4 based on corruption levels. Corruption is what we are trying to solve, right? Excuse me, my cold. I'm hoping not to gross anybody out. So, yes. So, corruption right here, right? So, self-improver. You know, trying to figure out, like, sorry. Okay, thing on my nose. Don't worry, it's not contagious through the webcam. Trying to figure out, like, if you have low corruption, do you if you have low corruption, then are you self-improvement oriented, right? So if you have low corruption, you have good income, good stability, then you would want to plausibly self-improve. And so you would want to put money toward roads and ports and stuff like that. I guess that makes sense. I'm trying to figure out in what way money is fungible with stability. How many ways can you guys think of so far in the game where you can sort of turn money into stability in a sideways fashion? There's a little bit of court stuff like that. Peter Weiss, ambitious is kind of interesting. That's difficult to code though, because there's a lot of vanilla AI stuff that you'd be running into. Self-fulfilled. That's interesting. But so why wouldn't you want to just go conquering at that point? I guess not every country might want to do that. Like, okay, we have this geographic area. It's nice. Time to improve. Okay, so this would be, so there would be two. We already have a great predator, right? already exists in the game. The great predator says, I'm strong, therefore I conquer. A self-fulfilled individual would be like, I'm strong, therefore I make my country higher quality. So there can kind of be a fork, right? The AI decides, like, I'm strong now, do I go a conquering? Or do I become a high quality country? Something to think about in the future. Bribing games. Yeah, bribing states. Record events you could fire in the menu to increase stability. Miguel, that's a good idea. That's a good idea, actually. Let's see. Because there does kind of need to be. I don't want it to be like money for stability, like something super easy to do. But so you go to the court menu. It would be nice if you had a little thing you could fire. Throw some kind of celebration or some kind of feast. And maybe you could do it if your court was big enough. Maybe I should add more stability to having better courts. Maybe. Yeah, that'll be something to think about. As a placeholder, what I'll do is let's see. Let me find all the court levels. Nah, I need. There we go. As a placeholder, let's just give each level of court some better stability modifiers. That way there is sort of a moneyed component. Not super big, but it gives the player and the AI some recourse. So they can feel like, oh, I have a way to improve my stability if I need to by spending some money. And then later on, we can do better by having some feast you can throw or something like that. But that's a rabbit hole that's not purely necessary to go running down at the moment. What really matters is getting the AI to use their states properly. Yeah, that's true, Cowboy Dang. The difference between conquerors and developing is how developed they are. If development is high, they can expand. Yeah. I think the emotion Andrews. I think the emotion metaphor is broken down. I don't think so, because it's not really a metaphor. It's literal, because that's how emotions operate, and so it's not really so much a metaphor. It's kind of like when we made the runner system for communication efficiency. it's not really a metaphor, right? I mean, it's kind of like we designed the system by which communication efficiency is determined, and we base it off of what really happens, which is messengers going out and doing stuff, right? So it's not really a metaphor. I think that's why it's helpful in design philosophy, because it's kind of literal. Yeah, Tornado Watch, I do agree. As it stands, the rewards you get from having a bigger quad are not worth it until you're far later on in the game. Then it's a question of investing into buildings. Well, so actually, as it stands right now, you actually get bonuses to your. I actually have to write it into the tooltips, but you get bonuses to estate loyalty gain when you have a better court. So there's that too, which is fairly significant. With the stability though too, that'll help. Yeah, omnipotent chocolate milk. There will be a similar system as education for military eventually if we get around to it, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so anyway, we have this these emotions here, which should be suitable for the purposes we need them for at the moment. Yeah, Tornado. That's not significant until estate loyalty means something, which is in development. Loyalty. Yeah, I think it's fixed here. Tornado, it'll especially matter once we can have estates early do some true damage. It all comes down to all those estate events, which is not going to happen yet. Obviously, it's going to depend on how involved I am with modding going forward. Let me check on that magnate issue. I think it was in MyZeal feature, but reorganization take priority. It has been broken for some time with the decision to get rid of the modifier commented out, but recently it was added back in, so there should be a way to get rid of the modifier. Lauren says, we need to make it a greater noble privilege, I think. Would make sense, but would be a pain at this particular moment. Could we just please remove it for now so it is not inexplicably detonating the diplomatic game of players with no obvious reason? And MyZeal then says, not my feature, why isn't it purged already? So thanks for whoever brought that up, because hopefully we can probably finally get things done. What often happens in these situations is no one knows who did what, and then so people are like, so is this somebody's thing? And then everyone's like, I'm not sure. And then you're like, well, whoever's it is, can they fix it? And then you think maybe they heard it, maybe they didn't, and then it doesn't get fixed, and then it still lingers. So I'm going to try and get that whole thing next, if at all possible. The whole magnate thing. It would be cool to make it a greater noble thing where they make it kind of like a privilege, and then you have to remove it because the greater nobles might not want to have to get tugged into somebody else's war, and so they might not want you to ally. Anyway, so we have our emotions here. see if we can program them real quick. So I gotta figure out where is an appropriate place to do it. Let me see. There's a lot of code here. Trigger. Okay, so it makes word choice. Favors decentralized policies. Trying to think of an appropriate place to put this emotional state training. We could make it part of a census. We could make it, stick it in the savings area right here. But no, that's not. This is a standalone event. Can't do it there. Yeah, Tornado. The decentralized nature of Muse development is necessary in a lot of ways, but also seems inefficient. It is. It's part of the perpetual frustrations and part of the virtues as well. It's because it allows people to come in and just do what they want without having much oversight or management. But then on the other hand, it's hard to undo things or fix things. Maloran seems like he's okay with taking it out. Okay, so. But they like me, though, probably because they're afraid of the burgers overtaking. How many more days until Horde's mechanics are added? Agostino, either a long time or never. Because I still don't know what I'm going to do after the beta segment is over. So basically, I have a chunk of free time, right? And in order to work on the mod, I really need to be able to focus, for a long period of time during a week. I need to be able to do development sprints so I can focus on making good features. The problem is, with my company, I could be taking a lot more work. It would be nice to make an extra $15,000 a year. On the other hand, I'd like to try and get this new game developer thing going and to monetize it. And if I can actually make enough off of that, I can justify not taking more work through the company. But the idea of spending 40 hours a week developing and not really getting ahead in life is, I can't justify that forever. So I'm going to see how the monetization thing goes. If I can't justify, spending all the extra time modding, then I'm just going to go and make it a hobby, obviously. But at that point, I'd probably just become a junior member of the modding team and just help fix a few bugs from time to time, and then try to let other team members integrate these features. But as I've said in other streams, I'm not sure that would necessarily happen. If it did, it would be great. If not, then I don't know. 2.3K trade income. Who was making that much? Yeah, $15,000 sounds much better, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, Tornado, have you or anyone else with Mew considered opening up donations? I think some people would like to donate to this project. I'm going to be starting sort of a peripheral project in which modding is a part of, the new game developer. I'm working on a forum, I'm working on a Patreon and stuff like that, and I'll be streaming too. And so I'm technically collecting donations. I'll be collecting donations for that. Ideally on a consistent subscription-based basis. And if that can actually if that can kind of get rolling to such an extent that at least it's half as effective as what I'd be making through marine biology, I could probably justify putting enough time aside for it. Yeah, and I can't directly, like Quentin says, I can't directly collect for modding, right? I'd have to collect for my other project, and modding would be part of. Yeah, I'd be documenting the modding process like I'm doing right now, right? That's the same thing with like Arumba streaming the mod, right? He's making money off the mod, but not for modding specifically, right? So for me, it would be technically the documentation process. Um, Details in the breaking the economy thread from earlier today. I think I have that open. Did I break the economy? Maybe economic system. I saw someone was making like 90 ducats off of trade, but 2,000. Yeah, here's the thread here. Holy shit! Yeah, what happened there? Who's he playing as? Netherlands. Okay. Let's see. But 83 ducats is cute. So something is screwy here. What year is it? It's only 1625. I've been mostly sitting back and relaxing this game with several decades passing, but something is obviously extremely broken here. Cash in my homeland, even if tax and production from those is just a fraction of my trade income. Recently decided to amuse myself by taking over Japan and building it into a production powerhouse, which could cause my income to shoot up even further. I wonder just how much the lands a more motivated player than I could take. Overextension is just a number to me by this point. And the North Italian countries are the only ones who can match me in tech. Something is not right here. Seems like there's got to be some kind of bug. Because there just can't be that much trade value being generated in the world. When you consider that, yeah, let's see. Bonus picture of low countries in the trade map mode with urban infrastructure shown. Quick count. I need a save game file is what I need. Pointless going over it. Hey man, could you... Oh. Could you give me your save game file? Seems to me like something is a little screwy with trade income or trade value being generated. You could drop the save here. I could take a look at it. Thanks. Okay, so let's see. This is the thing. Yeah, okay, so catching up with comments. Still can. This is the thing with games. You get immersed in it so much for a while, and you lose yourself in it, and suddenly you realize, whoa, I'm not doing anything. Yeah, the whole time. But I did get a lot of. Yeah, I learned a lot of really good skills, but that's the thing is with the new game developer project, I want to eventually move toward making my own games. And this was a fantastic opportunity to learn how to code and make sophisticated systems. So definitely worth it. You can't develop. Demian, are you saying you can't develop a game, a complex mod, make money, work, be a father, get further accomplishments in life, and stream all at the same time? Sounds totally reasonable. Well, yeah, that's the thing. So, if I can peel back the time that I spend on my job, then yes, it's possible to work on a complex mod or to develop a game and to expand my skills. But I can't do everything that you said right there. Yeah. I mean, I have no hobbies, right? I don't go home and sit down in front of the TV at night. I don't do much else. I don't play other games or anything, so I'm able to make a lot of time that way. But of course, the kids take up a lot of time too. Have you considered learning other coding skills? Yes, absolutely. I want to start a dev career. That's the idea, right? That's what his bro. That's what his bro he roomed with at PDocsCon is. Yeah, KJH is going to apply at Paradox, and I wish him the best. I think he can definitely do it. But for me, I don't want to work for another company. I want to do things on my own. Pretty much everything I've done most of my life has been making my own companies or working on my own, and it'll be a lot more fascinating to document that process of trying to make something from scratch, and kind of be a trailblazer for other people who can watch the process. From a business point of view, you have made quite a loyal fan base that share your vision. If you do not fall on your first project, you can start a new genre. Yeah, Dodocan, that's the thing, is there are a lot of people that are interested in the project, so I'd love to bring everybody along, and that's part of the monetization idea too, right? You build a fan base of people that are enthusiastic, and then you can harness that energy both as a community that's built, right? Because it brings more people in, but also as a financial base too. But it depends. My suspicion is that a lot of people that play these games, there's obviously adults like me, but there are a lot of college kids too who aren't loaded with money or anything like that. So it's not, from a financial perspective, I'm not sure how effective that is. But I guess we'll find that out. Trade value added modifier, that's the problem. Oh no, everything's legit. I continue to save game. Yeah, send me the save game. The napkin math that I'm doing. So, for instance, there's a few suspicions of how this could have happened, but I don't see how you get enough trade power, or enough trade power, but enough trade value, period, to make that much income. So, right, you can see, even if you got a merchant into every one of these nodes and moved all of this value, this is the beginning of the game, I know, but even if, halfway through the game you have 3 times as much, I'm still not sure how you get enough value all the way home from all of these places. I don't know. Obviously end nodes are OP and everything, but that's something. Yeah, I just have to. If you can get me the save game, that would be good. Stay away. This is beautiful. Invisible hand on the market will work again. Okay, it's up. All right, so now we're going to look at Peter's craziness here. There were issues with. So there's issues with like trade ships, for instance, and then there's issues with. I'm going to move this off screen just in case I accidentally disclose anything. Okay, so now everyone gets to see balance issues in action. Why is it? Go away, Dropbox. What? Netherlands. Here we go. Okay. Oh, good. We don't even have to unzip it. So now, let's go ahead and plop it into our save folder. Maybe an outdated version. Let's see. Okay. Of course, like I said before, the game breaks down after about 1500, 1600 as far as a lot of balance issues are concerned. Okay, let's see what people are saying. I hear Ellie, the real Demian stream starts soon. Christian Mogensen, I love Sweden, man. Sweden is so freaking awesome. I would love to move to Sweden. Just being there recently was it's so kid friendly too. It's so goddamn cold, but other than that, they're a bunch of sci-fi nerds. It's a great society. I'll stop being a neglectful parent soon and get Ellie in here so she can play around. We've been playing Terraria recently, which has been a lot of fun. Okay, let's see. Sorry, this can't be right. I don't see. Okay, so it has to be coming right from here, from the cape. That's where most of the value is being, and then you have. Okay, so you have the cape going to. Oh, let me see your fleet. I have a suspicion. Yeah, probably a gazillion trade ships. Let's see. So Guinea. And then Guinea goes back to Low Countries. Yeah, Netherlands does have an extremely favorable merchant route too. Let's see. Question now is, this is coming from, right, it skips so many. See, and this goes to Henti Wadi. Cities. The question is where most of your trade, let's see. Yeah, there's way too much freaking trade power on trade ships. It's something that I've really felt strongly about. It's just way too easy to suck all the trade out of the world. But even then, there shouldn't be that much generated necessarily. Right, able to suck all the, just with trade ships pretty much alone. Let's see, so for instance, how much trade power do we have? 147, that's quite a bit. Let's see. Let's see. So about 100. So let's look at the total trade power in this node. Right. So this is one of the obvious problems. So let's see. We have 97 ships. How much trade power is this generating? We're generating 5.5 trade power each. Right. The solution is to go into defines and nerf trade added value modifier. Isn't trade value added what you get from moving trade? The multiplier effect? Yeah, if it were up to me, it just wouldn't be there because it just makes money out of thin air. We've been talking about nerfing it for a long time. So there seems to be multiple issues here. Right, so let's go look at the defines. I was told by some of the other team members that we had fixed this issue, but apparently not. It's been a war drum I've been beating on for a very long time now. All right, going to defines. And it's the trade power issue too. Trade ships are just stupidly overpowered. It's like a couple of dumb ships are more powerful than a massive metropolis. It's like they pay for themselves and way, 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 way more. And you should not be that way. Yeah, the government built modifiers. Sorry, Quentin, those were supposed to just be diagnostic modifiers for us. Right. 1.5, like that makes that much of a difference. Because when you're moving it from China, let's see, how many nodes do we move it through? So it goes from let's see, someone mentioned an easier way to, yeah, Jesus. Check the trade value made here. Okay. All right, so Japan to China. The thing is, you should not be able to pull this much trade power off of China, but do you just have like ludicrous amounts of trade power? Trade steering, global trade power. Because it doesn't look like that much is necessarily being generated. I mean, there's a lot being generated from your cities here, which make a difference. But your trade ships seem to be accounting for the vast majority. So roughly about 550. Yes, trade efficiency is a problem too, which, let's see, let's see, Midas Touch from technology, Dutch ambitions, national trade policy. There's just so much little. Where did half of these come from even? Yeah. Let's see, foreign trade power. Steering, global trade power. Where is it listed anyway? Foreign trade power, foreign trade, global trade power. Trade efficiency, trade range. Jesus, like we need any more there. Hold on. Oh, so that's where you're getting a lot of your trade power too. But most of the trade power is your own. I really think the trade ship issue is a big one also, because it's just so incredibly easy to move your trade ships in and move massive amounts of trade. So yeah, let me bring this up in. Let me bring this up in Slack. Hey guys, so let me get everyone's attention. Hey guys, so we've got some serious issues with trade that I thought we'd resolve, but didn't. Check this thread. There are a variety of problems. Let's see, yeah, if I can't convince team members to also get rid of the trade added value modifier, I don't know what else to really do. So, oops, talking in Slack at the moment. Someone managed to get Q3. In a month to a combination of factors. Yeah, Richard, I think that's definitely a major issue, especially when you consider that so much of it is transferred from China, and like from Japan. So you get to China, you're transferring 167. Let's see, how many nodes does it actually pass through, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 7 or 8 nodes, and there's trade value being generated underway too. So it's just it doesn't go straight to Cape. Wait, so does it go down Africa too? Oh, it goes down Africa too. Okay, so we're looking at like 8 or 9 stops along the way, and then up to here and over here. The Philippines. That's the stupid thing. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna bounce trade around to extra nodes and 19 merchants. Yeah, it's and like I've said all along, trade value added is causing mass and unchains and insane proliferation. He ping pongs his trades through like 13 different nodes, and obviously with the behemoths of China and India around the beginning, a lot of that income just gets multiplied like crazy. Right now the multiplier is 0.15 apparently, which is a lot. I thought we reduced it to like 2.5%. Okay, so Quintin, you mentioned something. But dude, man, I've been saying this since before I was on the team, even. And this always happens, and there's always freaking trade everywhere, and Ceylon, conquer Zanzibar, then the Cape, and then through Philippines. Right. It just needs to not be there. It's impractical. In theory, it makes sense. The further you move trade, the more profitable it is. Not necessarily even though, but in game terms, it just blows everything up. Okay, so we need to deal with AI government build 4, right? May have already did that in the most recent build. Let me see. Also, trade ships are simply too overpowered. They end up paying for themselves 10 times over when prudently utilized. It's kind of dumb that 10 ships can be as powerful as a massive trading city in which you have invested 10k ducats. Yeah, trade ships need to be used where opportune, not spammed every single location. Okay, built fort, built harbor. Okay, let's find the sources of this. I may have already fixed it. Test events. Okay. Guess not. This was all KJ's old stuff. Built harbor. Oh wait, I got a better way to do this. So this is what we're gonna do. If limits has a global flag, show for developers, then add. And then what we do is we go to our startup events. And there's a special event that makes stuff. Actually, we'll just make it this. Steve events instant. Well, nah. Set global flag equals show for developers. And so now, instead of reactivating it and deactivating it whenever the devs are working on it, what we do is what I can do is I can fire this event before I run a hands-off game, and then it'll allow for all of that diagnostic stuff to be shown. Right. So now I just need to go to these other modifiers. Built harbor. There. And then we have roads, I think. Road. Damn it, I don't know. Road. Did I may have disabled that one. Did I? I guess I did. So I want it disabled though. Not necessarily. I don't know what it's called. See what progress we're making in Slack. Demi and trade ships probably need adjustment, but they are very difficult to adjust properly. Too weak, they're useless. So, in other words, trade ships probably won't be fixed. There should be contexts where trade ships are not worth it. That's the whole point. It's clearly a combination of issues for sure. Okay, let's find that road thingy. Road maintenance, Tuscan roads. Oh god. Road is building. Yeah, there's gotta be a better way to find this thing. Road network. Can keep roads has building. Darn. Okay. Where is it? Pop colonial modifiers. Maybe in here. Road. Oh, road built recently. No, is it? Yeah, here it is. That was lucky. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to events and see where it was originally placed. In global AI decisions, in test events. Well, okay, so I wanted to. What was it? ACK. What was that startup flag called? Yeah, show for developers. If limits as global flag, so if this flag is set. Why would there be a global flag here? Oh, I'm not going to question it. Okay. Okay. I'm not sure why it wasn't showing up though, period. I guess we'll see. I don't know. Alright, well. And I'm arguing about trade. Okay. So I'm not sure why the little road building icons aren't popping up. Let me catch up with everyone's comments. Okay, so 0.05 brings it to a more reasonable 458. That's still overpowered, Peter. That's the thing. Let me mention that in So, Demi, you want to tell the other team members that in vanilla the trade value added is only 1.5? Yeah, I'll do that too. In vanilla, trade value added is only 0.05 plus fewer nodes, so less proliferation. That's the thing, is like at the point you are in the game right now, that much trade shouldn't be so damn easy to move, right? What is China's tech anyway? Is your tech just like way ahead of theirs or something? Yeah. You should have around, yeah, 0 corruption. And you're rooting out corruption because you have plenty of money, right? But that is a problem, isn't it? Rooting out corruption. You just really need to get rid of that. It makes it way too easy, especially when you're rich, just to root out corruption. And it's a money trap for the AI that doesn't have enough money. Yeah. That's basically worth 6 privileges or something. So, yeah. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this too. Way too easy when you are rich to reduce corruption via root out corruption, but when you are poor, it's a money trap. Also, let's see what. So, I think that you get corruption reduction for being ahead of time in dip tech. Is that really necessary? I wonder, is that really necessary? Yeah, everyone's trying. Everyone's now working like a swarm of bees on the trade issue. I mean, no small amount of trimming is going to fix that. Is going to fix that issue. Your tech modifiers anyway. I was having a lot of issues getting tech earlier in the game as a medium-large country, or kind of a large country. Because if you have all the institutions all the time with no institution penalty, it's fairly easy. And 0 corruption. Yeah. And that it doesn't really make sense being ahead of time in administrative tech giving you reduced corruption because then it keeps you ahead in admin tech because you have better amount of cars. So it's kind of like a virtuous cycle, and that's kind of a problem. So I think that would be in the define somewhere, right? We can fix that. Not the defines, but the static modifiers, right? Let's see if I recall. Oops. Okay. Ahead of time. Don't remember offhand. Kidnap some bureaucrats. Where? Whatever. Search the entire file. Ahead of time. Yeah. Goodbye. Oh, I see. It's in the tech files. Duh. Goodbye. Let's see what other freebies did we have. We had. Yeah, it was everything at corruption thing. I really wish I could convince them just to get rid of without corruption because it's basically a freebie for most countries. I mean, it's development based, but you're like 2 million freaking people. Even if trade income was reasonable, even if it was only 50 ducats, well, never mind. Even if it was, I don't know, like 100 or something like that, it would still be worth spending 3.5 ducats to read out 6 privileges worth of corruption. Just out of curiosity. Let's go to the Turkish Empire. Let's say we root out corruption. Right. So basically 8 ducats to remove it by 0.5, which ends up being 10 privileges worth. Yeah, way too cheap. Way too cheap. Yeah. So yeah, lots of arguing going on at the moment. Let's see. Can we take a minute to talk about how Denmark, Norway is retreating from the hands of Sweden and Norway have switched places? Good question. Denmark got, yeah. It's like the musical chairs. Sometimes weird things happen. Okay. Turks are rather disappointing this game. I'll be right back. Okay. Let's go back to Netherlands. I'm not giving up on this trade ship thing. What's the tag on debug mode? Ned. Tag Ned. So let's see, how much are ships costing? Ships are costing 64 ducats. Yeah. Guys, just take a look at the cost benefits of ships. 64 ducats in maintenance. Thousands in revenue. You see each ship pay for itself 20 times. Not giving up on this. Okay. Let's see. Read through your comments. France is weak in M&T. It is. It needs some help. The same with the Mamluks. It needs to be able to harness its estates, which is why we were coming up with those emotions earlier. Once they get that, I think they'll be able to survive reasonably well. So. Trying to get through your comments here. Yeah, Peter Weiss, if you want to map up a spreadsheet, document how much money is being generated out of thin air, that's good. I mean, so trading efficiency is supposed to be significantly restrained. We want to get rid of most superficial sources of it. And it looks like you just managed to stack a tremendous amount. I think taking it away from ahead of time in diplomatic tech. I don't know. There's a lot of money out of thin air. I mean, the biggest offender obviously is the multiplier effect. Yeah, Tornado. I think Turks have a real problem with prioritization. I think the problem is they're still going off of missions. I think, which is, well, maybe not. No, I don't think so. Let's see. Yeah, missions may not have anything to do with it. Yeah, it's like, ooh, attack Hungary. Yeah, so we need to try and get them to be more interested in going after the Mamluks, where all of the nice juicy stuff is. With 4 nations steering, you get like plus 25%. Yeah, I agree. Too easy to kind of passively just move trade. This kind of does automatically. And so what you end up with is end nodes just end up with, you know, a huge amount of ducats in a lot of cases by default. Yeah, it's so annoying. I know KJ was working on the Great Predator system. I don't know if he's coming back or not. You know, training the AI is a little trickier than you'd think. Let me go back to the argument. Force limit is kind of a moot point because it's an issue of cost-benefit ratio between the power of the ship versus the cost of maintaining it. Right now, the benefits is something like 15 to 1. Well, this was a bit of a shift in direction from what I wanted to do, but obviously necessary to fix. No one's arguing that, but this player managed to get 22.3k ducats a month with very little effort. The biggest offender is obviously the trade value multiplier. Move that back to vanilla. values, and we're back in sane territory. Geometric growth, man. It'll get you every time, and it'll always sneak up on you. Let's see. Janissary decadence. Yeah, that's kind of annoying. That's showing up. 4 squirrel babies. I should have clicked it. Hi, Demi. I understand you wanted to make the AI more aggressive with permanent claims. I never added the permanent claims. Those were always just there. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these permanent claims are kind of silly. Make them conquer in obtuse directions. I mean, the aggressive AI only has to do with them declaring wars. It doesn't have to do with the claims that they had. I've been trying to scale back a lot of their original bonuses and stuff like that in favor of just being, more aggressive and opportunistic. With KJ gone, I don't know how much we're going to be able to modify. Part of me is like, yay, I get to do it myself. And the other part of me is like, oh my god, that's a lot of work. I can't do this myself. Turks have been kind of crap this game, it looks like. Yeah, pretty crap. Guys, where do I get that bug fix? Antwerp's pop data. Let's see. As you can see, I'm in a nice relaxed position here. Kind of look at all your pop data here. Reasonably well urbanized everywhere. But still pretty outrageous income given the circumstances. Yeah, what about the pop data here? Oh, Octagon, the perma claims have always been there. The problem right now is they declare casus belli assuming that they have a claim, even if they don't. So it's most of the time an aggressive AI does anyway, but in some cases it ends up creating a situation where it technically might give them a free claim. And in the case of the Ottomans, it's a moot point because they have like perma claims everywhere. Yeah, there's Antwerp. So apparently, God, light ships are so damn cheap. That's another issue. Here, let's see. Trying to rein in these crazy values. So nothing per month. Cool. 36 ducats. So 0.17 maintenance a month equals how much trade power? 5.5 trade power. Let's find an analog to that. Let's see. Mobile trade power. Apparently there's some kind of really weird stuff going on. Hopefully this is an imbalance issue or some scripting error. We'll find out soon. Yeah, a trade ship is worth basically, 2 trade ships are worth a decent sized city. I don't know. I'm gonna keep pounding on the trade ship drums. I really think that's causing issues. Let's see. Back to the comments. Doing it, I found what I think is a bug. I just wrote what in the comments of the previous stream. Okay. I'll check that out in a second. Would it be possible to increase farm efficiency with buildings or just cash? Crew economy, that's work in progress that we're thinking about. Yeah, General Azaz, we're trying to figure out why trade is broken right now. But this is not, I mean, what you've done here, Peter, it's something most people should be able to do, which is a problem. Theoretically, you should not be able to move trade to every single node and multiply it like crazy and then get it back home with relative ease. First 2 numbers. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Because this is the yearly multiplier. This is 10 times your yearly multiplier. I find a better way to express that. The Benzel Gadu, thanks for the great job you've done. Thanks. General Azaz, yes, he is playing the same mod. But we have significant balance issues due to a number of things I wish I could just fix. Light ships are not the problem. Okay, sure. All right. Problem is light ships plus mass proliferation due to trade value multiplier. Couple that with trade efficiency and other edge influences, and voila. Oh well, out of my hands. So hopefully it looks fixed. Guess I should work on something else. So let's see. Okay, so you rather focus on something else. Let's see. I was gonna build in the emotions. I got rid of the built harbor stuff. I can remove that right now so it's not clogging up my interface here. Country modifiers, buildings, go away for now. Global AI decisions. All right, so I wanted to put in emotions somewhere. Trying to remember where I wanted to put it though. I mean, does the soldiers we lost in war has an effect on demography? No, it doesn't. We don't really have the right tools to deal with that, unfortunately. Manpower does influence it, though, so kind of technically. Demian, did you see the thread of the forum about innate fertility? How is it currently decided at start? It's we have a place where it's defined in startup. Where was it? You can see it here. Different areas. So it's set to the current population that's there, and then it's multiplied by these values based on the area. Yeah, Pel. I agree. Light ships are a major part of the problem. I mean, obviously the cost multiplier is a huge problem. So light ships aggravate it, but it's just that it's a no-brainer. Light ships. It's like if you should just build nothing but light ships. to your force limits, and then they will pay for themselves, and you will have an unbeatable navy, and it won't have any downside. So it's like, so you do it, and that's just bad. That's just bad design philosophy. Out of my hands, though. By the way, for those who have mentioned it being transferred power to me, that makes only 12.5% of my trade power in Yangtze Basin. So what is the main? So the main source is what, Peter, by your reckoning? And when we check, right, we yeah, mainly ships. Ships, some provinces, and then multiplication of trade power. Globalized trade. Where's that coming from? Yeah, it seems like there's also just a stupendous amount of trade power multipliers too. And so they're all multiplying into the trade ship power too. Yeah, so I mean, so there's 12,000 ducats of infrastructure in one city, generating 147. All right, so how many trade ships is that worth? Yeah, it's worth 26 trade ships. And 26 trade ships is worth 36 ducats, so 936. So basically, building up a city is approximately 12 times more expensive than building up an equal number of trade ships. Except the trade ships can be redeployed anywhere and can be projected militarily. And will become more powerful as the game goes on. So and the maintenance for 26 ships is basically irrelevant, right? 26, that's like 2 ducats, right? So that's, I don't know. Yeah, the institution's probably quite overpowered as well. Let me express those observations in Slack. So for instance, Hangzhou has trade power of 147, but costs 12,000 ducats to build. That is the equivalent of 26 trade ships at a cost of 1,000 ducats and virtually no maintenance. Plus you have the war power, the trade ships, domination of the seas. Still gonna make my case. We've also got a trade power bloat as well, it seems. It could be worth building mines, Philippe, but it's kind of like if you want a burst of money over the next 50 years, with then the mine kind of losing its edge over time. The city should have more trade power for me. That's my impression too, and that trade ships should be used to target specific areas that are vulnerable or in areas that you really need trade moved for, rather than a blunt instrument to just pound away at every node, with maxed out naval force limit. It's gotten to the point, it's like, looks like Peter, you didn't even really bother. It got to the point where it was just a little too easy. So it's like, why even bother building all the ships? Ben Lezigadu, there should be data about demography. So, why? That's odd. Why is the button disabled? Oh, maybe you can't do it in trade companies or something? No, it shouldn't be. Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, that's right, because it's a trade. Yeah, it's not your province. Duh. Right. Target specific areas. All of Asia. I mean, I guess you've conquered most of southern India, so you don't need that many trade ships. But I mean, you had to exert some effort there to actually dominate the node. Yeah. But yeah, the proliferation, main offender is pretty obvious. That being just the proliferation due to the multiplier. So we'll see what happens with that. And of course, most of that money is coming, a big chunk of that money is coming from the very end. So it's just going all the way around and then clunk. By the time it gets to the Netherlands, it's just multiplied like 12 or 13 times. And it's with that kind of proliferation, it trivializes trying to colonize the New World and move trade from the New World too. It's like, why bother? Because you can't make magic money. Really, the biggest culprits would be just money out of thin air, trade value multiplier. The vanilla value of 0.05 would make trade sensible as is. And all other balance changes to trade would be icing. Um, 100 ducats from Asia multiplied by 1.05 13 times is still a lot of extra money. Go Granada. Go Granada. Oh, half cids. Oh wow. Okay, back to what people are saying. No, colonizing the New World has a purpose, getting more merchants for my Asian trade chains. Exactly. Should not work that way. Dagnammit. Yeah. Ben Les Gadu. Paradox should hire you, Demian. Yeah, I talked to Paradox about jobs. I'm pretty sure I could land a job at Paradox, but the issue I found is housing prices in Stockholm, believe it or not, are like astronomical. If I were single, it wouldn't be a big issue, and if I didn't have a family, it wouldn't be a big issue. But it would be very hard to survive in or around Stockholm with a Paradox job, which would pay okay, but supporting 2 kids on that and a wife who may or may not find a job in Sweden, that's kind of a problem. So that's kind of off the table. Georgie, the disorganized military was already removed from Romans in the most recent build, so not for you, but you'll get it coming up when the next version is made. T-Web. Johan is a decadent paranoid man. Do you guys know what DLC or recommend to play this mod? Ben Lezigadu, they've probably answered it already, but Cossacks and Common Sense, ideally. Peter Weiss Hansen, keep in mind a lot of value is picked up underway. You mean as it's bouncing along? Yeah, naturally, but I mean, when most of the trade value is being moved from the furthest nodes back, and then basically Africa is used as like a multiplying mechanism, then it doesn't really matter. I mean, China's only picking up steam from a few extra nodes, so what's the difference, you know? Yeah, trade chips purely moving trade value from that node. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get my way with trade value or trade chips though. The thing is, like in my vision, trade. If you dominated world trade, 500 ducats a month would be like crazy. Right? And the only way to do that is to prevent free money from coming out of nowhere and prevent a fluid means by which you can move trade power, aka tons of trade chips. So in your case right now, Peter, you could build over your force limit, no problem, and trade chips would still be totally worth it to move any extra trade from any other nodes if you had the merchants, right? So it's the money proliferation that's always been the problem with trade from the beginning, from vanilla to the previous build of M&T. Is it possible to get rid of it in game? Get rid of what in game? Money should increase in fertility since fertility depends on access to one thing that vanilla has to add is better diplomatic choices. Yeah, I agree. Balance of power, replacing the horrible coalition mechanics. Yeah, I agree for sure, because the coalition mechanics just kind of reward it's a very temporal thing. It only lasts for a while. Whereas there should be a lot of considerations. You know, when you consider the historic Franco-Turkish alliance, that existed as a balance of power alliance against the Habsburg dynasty, you know. And that wouldn't really appear in game as it exists, you know, with the current game. Well, Peter, my perspective is merchants shouldn't necessarily be the problem. You're saying they're relatively easy to pick up. That's fine, but it shouldn't be so easy to move trade and to generate trade off of them, right? So, like, if you enter a node, you know, it should be pretty mandatory that you, I guess you probably do in a lot of cases. It should be pretty mandatory that you need some kind of reasonably built up port in order to be sure that you move enough trade. And of course, the big problem big problem with Europa Universalis is that no one ever challenges you overseas. The AI is absolutely horrible at Eastern trade, so once you get there, you can just rampage pretty easily. Multiplayer, it obviously matters, but. Is it possible to remove martial law without dispatching runners? No. I mean, yeah, well, after 5 years, runners show up on their own, and then they replace martial law. I mean, you can see there's no martial law anywhere in the Turks, right? So it replaces after a while. You just have to kind of be patient. And yeah, the kebabs are still part of the Greek group. I'd probably change it if I could, but it's not my decision. How developed are poor provinces? You mean here? Pre-developed, but not nearly enough to warrant, what we're seeing here. Peter, how easy did you notice trade power being moved just by default, just by plunking a merchant down? I just wish trade just works differently. Provinces and ships. Check the downstream. Not really that much. That's the way you've built up your trade cities. In Indonesia, seems about right? You build up a big trade city, then you get to move a lot of trade. That's the way it's supposed to be. And so what you've done here makes a lot of sense. That's how it should be done, kind of throughout the entire process. And of course, reductions to proliferation. Yeah, so with relatively little development, some cheap light chips move tons of trade. Too easy. Matthias, the game came from a player. There's a trade balance issue, as you can see. Trade proliferates like multiplies like crazy, and it's too easy to move in the east, which is a problem. Ships do not have upkeep. One city in Java costs more than 12,000 ducats, which costs more 2 times more than the entire fleet. Multiply that by all of the cities along the way. Still fighting over where the trade power is coming from. Maintenance cost after a while. Anyway. It's getting to the point where I think I probably have to end the stream soon. Let's see, Damien, is the trade working as desired in this game? No, it isn't. But now we're kind of having a disagreement in the deep channels over what the cause is. And yeah. Yeah, nice Granada. Should they have a group of their own? Would be nice if the Turks had a group of their own. The culture is kind of a rough. There's lots of limitations to culture. With diplomatic tools for modders that PDocs put in Hungary patch, is it possible for the Mutant Taxes team to add defensive aggressive alliances, etc.? Not really, unfortunately. It would take a lot of work. Will we be able to revoke privileges by force? Is the game more optimized? Yeah, hopefully I'll get around to having the whole revoke privileges by force thing. Adversarial, we'll see. It's something that is kind of in scaffolding at the moment. Johan has a very hot head. He apparently can't accept that the majority want to play a historical game, not a bombing simulator. Yeah. I don't expect that Europa Universalis will ever stop being a gamey type of game. And the excuse is kind of always that my brain needs some caffeine or something. The excuse is always that that the player base wouldn't want something that's more historically inspired as far as mechanic wise. Like people want mana, they want click button, get reward type of thing. But I'm not sure I'm entirely convinced that that's true or not. It could be. I don't know. Remove trade ships. Yeah, let's find out what happens when we remove trade ships. Oops. Alt. I thought that was the way that you... There we go. Everybody go to Antarctica. Let's see what happens. Probably will be quite a bit of income because of the proliferation mechanics, but will be interesting. Does that answer your question? Screenshot. Okay, it looks like we might be getting someplace with trade. So hopefully we'll fix that. It's been the biggest thing that's bugged the hell out of me for the longest time. I took a lot of measures to try to reduce how influential trade is on the game by making the base trade value that you can move half as much as the actual value you get from producing the good. And so that originally helped, but with the proliferation mechanisms, it just produces outrageous results. I wish it was just like 2.5% proliferation from node to node. Maybe that's a bit extreme. Maybe 5% would be acceptable. Because this right here is about the extreme of what I think trade income should gain a country if they dominate most of trade. You know? So anyway, I'll be right back.
What's the office? That's the office. The office was the shy.
Okay.
Should I want to buy a pony?
You want My Little Ponies?
Right.
Here, yeah. You can go say hi to everybody on the internet. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi, internet.
Hi, internet.
Okay. All right. Let's play a game.
Game.
What do you want to play?
Mom,
A what? What was that?
buy the pony.
There is no My Little Ponies game.
Buy the pony. Buy the pony.
Or is there actually? Hold on.
Buy the pony.
Maybe there is. Hold on. My Little Pony Flash game. Judging by the things that show up on the internet, I'm a little bit worried about what could pop up.
Buy it.
Whoa.
What is
I
this?
should have known there would be like a billion.
Buy the pony. Just buy a pony.
This one right here? How about this one? Racing game. This could be harmful to your computer. Let's see.
Picky buy
Okay.
Ready.
Why do I need to? Let's see. Bike racing. Okay, here goes.
Here it goes.
Okay. Loud. Collect all the candy. Okay. Not too. Okay, we're gonna go fly sparkle obviously. Ah! Oh no! I should have read the instructions. Here we go. Ouch! Ah no! Failed. Okay. Ah. Oh no! Oh no! Our bike broke. This is freaking hard, man. Hardcore. Yeah, we're gonna win. Do you want to try? Okay, this is what you do. Put your hand right here. You push this button and it makes you go. See? Ugh. This is pretty potent game design. We're never gonna catch up to Alex right now. Oh, we lost. Okay. Do you want to try bubbles?
My Little Pony.
You want more of My Little Ponies? Yeah.
I don't want bubbles.
Hmm?
I'm not a bubble.
You don't want bubbles right now?
I know the pickles.
You want? Do you not want to do pickles?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want to do then?
I need my Little Pony.
You need My Little. You don't just want My Little Ponies. You need My Little Ponies. Yeah. There goes the viewers. Yeah, I've got to leave anyway right now, so we'll go get our toddler gaming going.
Container.
Cause I got to get my other daughter too. This is a person watching my kids is leaving, so. Okay. All right. See you, everybody. Can you say bye to everybody on the internet? Up there. Say bye-bye, internet.
Say cheese.
Say cheese. Yeah, that's right. It's a camera. You say bye-bye, internet.
Bye-bye.
You got to point down and say bye-bye, internet.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. All right. Bye-bye. Stop streaming. Okay. I think, did we stop?
Bye-bye, dude.
Okay, there.